failed reg. Let's talk about what I did wrong, what I'm going to do differently next time, and then plan out my new study schedule. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Michaela. I'm a senior in college studying accounting and finance. I work full-time as a public tax accountant, and I just started my journey towards my CPA. But before we get started, make sure you go hit that subscribe button down below if you want to see more CPA content, and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. So I actually took reg back in January of this year. It is currently April. I had made a video back then about my whole experience with it, and my audio had gotten messed up, so I took that as a sign that I shouldn't post the video, when in all reality, I was really actually just embarrassed. Most of the people in my life, like around me, in my personal life, they already knew I didn't pass, so it wasn't that aspect of it. I was just worried it would affect my credibility on YouTube and helping with studying for the CPA. Then I realized it doesn't. If anything, it helps me grow as a person, and it shows me that I wasn't studying correctly and that there's changes that need to be made. So now that busy season is officially over, I mean, obviously with everything going on right now, busy season is extended to July 15th, but my internship still ended on April 15th, so I have some time before I start as a full-time associate on June 1st to get some studying in and to really learn reg. So I could come up with numerous excuses as to why I didn't pass reg. I could sit here and talk about all the random factors that were out of my control and yada yada, but at the end of the day, I just didn't put in enough effort. And that was part of my issue with my last video, because I felt like I was just making excuses the entire time, and I didn't actually talk about the real reason why I didn't pass. So while I studied a lot for reg last time, I didn't study effectively. So when I study for school, I'm never like 100% focused on what I'm studying. It comes a little bit more naturally, whereas with reg, you have to be focused on what you're studying 100% of the time, and you have to be willing to put in that work, even when you don't want to. So because of this, I wasn't retaining the information I needed to, and I would reread and reread things 4 or 5 times before I would actually even comprehend it, and it just wasn't effective. And so at the end of the day, I wasn't actually remembering much that I was going over. I also had the mindset that, if nothing else, I was coming out of the exam with experience, and that's the mindset I had going into it. And that was a huge part of my problem. I wasn't going into it like, yes, I'm gonna pass this. I was going into it as, I might pass this. If I do, that'd be cool. Otherwise, if I don't, that's cool too. That's not the way to go into these type of tests, obviously. But I was still like a year out from graduating. I just had like the 100, in my state, you can sit for the exam after 120 credit hours. You just don't get the certificate until 150. And that's pretty common in a lot of states. So it was the fall semester, this past fall semester, I started studying for it, or made the decision to start studying for it. And I took it in January, and I just felt like I rushed it. So while I did better than I was expecting to, obviously I still didn't pass. But with the score that I did get, I think that I will pass the second time around as long as I put in the appropriate amount of effort. So the first thing I'm going to do differently this time is I'm going to find a separate place to study. So last time I was trying to study in our house, so on the dining room table, at the couch. We didn't have a separate desk or somewhere else for me to go, and so I got distracted really easily. I actually didn't have a productive study session until I started back at my firm for my second internship, and that happened to be the week before my exam. I probably learned more in that 1 week before my exam than I did the entire 2 months that I studied for it. So obviously this is going to be difficult because I can't just go to a coffee shop, go to the library, or anything like that due to social distancing. So I am going to have to put in a little bit more effort when it comes to staying focused. I do think having a separate desk is going to help, but it is still in our living room, so there are still distractions. The second thing I'm going to do differently this time is give it a higher priority. I think the biggest thing for me is I just wasn't focused in the way I needed to be. I wasn't making the CPA exam one of my top priorities. I was blaming the holidays and wanting to spend time with family and friends, being on my last winter break for school. But at the end of the day, if anything, I learned that you can still make time for those things with proper planning, which is kind of why I started back up doing calendar blocking. And so if you want to know what calendar blocking is, you should go check out one of my last videos. In that video, I talk all about what calendar blocking is, how I do it, and I actually take you through how I plan out one of my weeks. Along with this, I also have to learn how to just tell people no. That's a big thing for me. I tend to feel guilty if I tell somebody no to hanging out, if I haven't seen them in a while, or if I know that there's something that we do on a regular basis. I don't, especially at the beginning, like I feel bad for having to say no to those things. But you shouldn't feel bad. Like obviously, most people will understand if you try to explain your best as to why this is so important, what this is going to do for you. Most people will not have an issue with that. The third thing I'm going to do differently is just to take my time. I felt like last time I was trying to rush through it because I was trying to get it done in winter break and before busy season really hit, so I tried to get it done like within the first couple weeks my internship started, definitely before February. I think forcing myself to be on this timeline rushed me, and I started to just go through the process and go through each module and just trying to get it done with, rather than like taking the time to actually understand what I was supposed to be learning. I also didn't focus very much on the simulations because everything I'd read, everyone was like, oh no, just worry about the multiple choice. Because if you understand the multiple choice, you understand the simulations, if you can apply it. For me, that didn't work. In order for me to learn how to apply it and learn like what I'm actually supposed to be doing, I think I need to actually go through the simulations. I'm a very hands-on learner, and I actually need to do what I'm supposed to be doing in order to learn it. So just memorizing multiple choice and definitions and things like that didn't benefit me. And so that's just something that I need to switch up in my study method. The last thing I'm going to do that differently this time is get a study buddy. So I already have a friend that we're graduating at the same time. She's going to be starting to study for the CPA as well. And I think she's taking audit first, whereas I'm taking reg, but that's okay. And last time I had people that I talked to like at work and people that have taken exams in the past. I got some advice from them, but I didn't actually have somebody to like sit down, bounce ideas off of, have study dates with. Obviously right now it'll be like FaceTime or over Zoom or something, but I think having that accountability person there is extremely important, and so that's something I'm going to do differently this time. And not only just for accountability, but also just to have somebody to talk to about it, because it can be stressful and not a lot of people understand why or how it's stressful, because to a lot of people it's just another exam. Well, it is just another exam. It's obviously a very challenging exam, and I don't think a lot of people understand the severity of it, and unless they're actually going through it themselves. So I think having someone who is also going through the same situation, is also stressed out all the time because of it, I think that'll help my stress levels, I guess.